Hello everyone. In this video, we shall talk about circles. So what is a circle? A circle is the set of all points that are equidistant to a fixed point. The fixed point is called the center of the circle and it is denoted by C, and the fixed distance is called the radius, which is denoted by small r. So in the following graph, we have a circle having center here at the origin, which is C. And then if we get any point on the circle, the distances of these points from the center are the same. That's why we have a fixed distance of r. Now, for the standard equation of a circle having a center C with coordinates h comma k and radius r has equation x minus h quantity square plus y minus k quantity square equals the radius square. And we call this the center radius form. So to graph a circle, it is important that the equation of the circle is written in the standard form so that we can easily identify its center and radius. So to graph a circle, we will determine the center, h comma k, and then we plot it on the Cartesian plane. And then we determine the radius r, and using this radius and the center, we plot 4 points by moving r units upward from the center, r units downward from the center, r units leftward from the center, and r units rightwards from the center. Once we have those 4 points, we can connect them by using a circle. So let us have an example. Let us graph the circle x minus 1 quantity square plus y plus 1 quantity square equals 4. So in here, we can write this as the quantity of x minus 1 square plus the quantity of y minus negative 1 square is equal to positive 2 square. So here, the center of the circle is positive 1 comma negative 1, and that indicates that h is equal to 1 and k is equal to negative 1. And then the radius r is equal to positive 2. So we plot the center 1 comma negative 1. So from the origin, we move 1 unit to the right and then 1 unit downward. And then from the center, we move 2 units upward to get the first point. From the center, we move 2 units downward to get another point. From the center, we move 2 units leftward to get another point. And from the center, we move 2 units to the right to get another point. So connecting these 4 points using a circular shape is the graph of our equation. Now, what we've discussed so far is the center radius form or the standard form of a circle. Now, a circle is a conic section, and a conic section has the form ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus dy plus f equals 0, where a, c, d, e, and f are real numbers. Now, it is a circle if a and c are the same, and a and c are not both 0. So, in the following examples, we have x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 21 equals 0. So observe here that a is equal to positive 1 and c is equal to positive 1. So this must be an equation of a circle. So for the second one, a is equal to 3 and c is also equal to positive 3. So which indicates that this equation is also a circle. So now, let us write this general form of the equation into the center radius form. So to write this in center radius form, we have to use completing the square. But before that, we need to group all those terms with x, and then we group all those terms with y. And then the constant must be at the right side. So 21 will become negative 21 at the right side. And then observe that we left a space in both of the groupings. It is because we will complete the square. So to complete the square, we need to add something in this grouping and add something to this grouping. And then whatever we add from these two groupings must also be added to the right-hand side of the equation. So for the first grouping, dividing -6 by 2, that gives us -3, and we square it, that gives us +9. So 9 will also be added to the right side. And then for the second grouping, we divide 8 by 2, which is 4. 4 squared is 16. And so we also add 16 to the right side. Now, factoring these groupings will give us quantity x minus 3 squared. And in the second grouping will be y plus 4 quantity squared. And then adding these values, we get -21 plus 9 plus 6, which is +4. So now the equation is in the center radius form. So this means that this is a circle having center at 3, -4, and the radius is equal to 2. Now for the second one, we will group all those terms with x. So we have 3x squared minus 6x. And then group all those terms with y. So we get 3y squared plus 8y. And then we transpose -4 to the other side, so we have +4 at the right side. However, since x squared and y squared has coefficients that are not equal to 1, so we need to factor these coefficients. So factoring 3 from the first grouping, we get 3 times the quantity of x squared minus 2x, and then we leave a space for the completing the square part. And then plus, in the second grouping, we factor out 3, and then the second factor will be y squared plus 8 over 3 times y, and then we leave a space for the completing the square part, and then equals +4. So for the completing the square part in the first grouping, we divide -2 by 2, which is -1, and then -1 quantity square will be +1. But since we added 1 here and it is multiplied to +3, then we should add +3 here. So that's 1 times 3. So that is +3. And then for the second grouping, we will divide 8 over 3 by 2. So dividing 8 over 3 by 2 will give us 4 over 3. And then squaring 4 over 3 will give us 16 over 9. Now, 16 over 9 multiplied to 3 is 16 over 3. So we shall add 16 over 3 at the right side. So factoring these perfect square trinomials, we get 3 times the quantity of x minus 1 squared plus 3 times the quantity of y plus 4 over 3 quantity squared. And then adding the following, we have 7 plus 16 over 3, which is 37 over 3. And then dividing both sides of this equation by 3 will give us x minus 1 squared plus y plus 4 thirds squared is equal to 37 over 9. So in this case, the circle has center +1, -4 thirds, and its radius is the square root of 37 over 3. Now let's move to finding the equation of a circle. So let's find the equation of a circle having center at 3, -7 and passing through the point -2 over at -2, 5. So to find the equation of a circle, we shall need the center and the radius of the circle. But in this information, we don't have the radius, so we shall get the distance between the center and the given point. Now, the distance between 2 points, let's say P with coordinates x sub 1 and y sub 1, and Q, x sub 2, y sub 2, is given by the following formula. It is the square root of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 square plus x sub 2 minus x sub 1 square. So here, the distance between these 2 points would be 5 minus -7 quantity square plus -2 minus 3 quantity square. So this distance is equal to The square root of 5 minus negative 5 is 12 square, which is 144. And then negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Quantity square is positive 25. So 144 plus 25 is 169. And the square root of 169 is equal to 30. So this distance is our radius. So our equation would be, since it is x minus h quantity square plus y minus k quantity square equals r square, we have x minus 3 quantity square plus y minus negative 7, and that's going to be y plus 7 quantity square equals r square is 13 square, which is 169. So if we're going to write this in the general form, we just need to expand the squares. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 9, and then we have y squared plus 14y plus 49, and then transposing 169 to the other side, we have 1 minus 169 equals 0. So combining like terms, we get x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 14y, and then 9 plus 49 is 58, minus 169 is negative 111 equals 0. So this is the equation of the circle in the general form. And then finally, let us find the equation of the circle with diameter endpoints 1, negative 1, and negative 3, 5. So if we're given with diameter endpoints, we have to get the center of the circle by getting the midpoint of the line segment having these endpoints. Now, the midpoint of a line segment given the endpoints x1, y sub 1, and x2, y sub 2 is given by the formula x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, comma, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So since it's a midpoint, it must be an ordered pair. So first, let's get the center, which is the midpoint of these given points. So the center will be 1 plus negative 3 over 2. And then we have negative 1 plus 5 over 2. So simplifying this, we get negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. And this one will be negative 1 plus 5 over 2, which is positive 2. Now next, we need to get the radius of the circle. So the radius of the circle would be the distance of the center with any of these 2 points. Or it is the distance between these 2 endpoints and dividing it by 2. So we can just get the distance between, let's say, point P and point Q. So the distance would be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity square. So that's 5 minus negative 1 quantity square plus negative 3 minus 1 quantity square. So that's going to be 5 minus negative 1, which is 6. Quantity square is 36. And then this one will be negative 4 quantity square, which is 16. So this gives us the square root of 52. Now, square root of 52 can be written as 2 square root of 13. But since the radius is half of this distance, so that's going to be 2 square root of 13 over 2, which is square root of 13. So now, since we have the center and the radius, we can now write the standard form of the circle. So we write x plus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals square root of 13 quantity squared, which is positive 13. So this is the standard form of the equation. Now, if you want to write this in the general form, we just expand the following squares, just like in the previous example. So that's about circles. So thank you for listening in this videos, and I hope that you will subscribe in my channel. Thank you.